How many times have you done something to your dog that felt loving to you, but might have felt completely different to them? Because here's the thing, nobody tells new dog owners. Your dog can't pull you aside and say, "Hey, can we talk about the hugging thing?" They don't get a comment section. They don't get to leave a review of you as an owner. All they have is body language, and most of us were never taught how to read it. So we miss it over and over for years without ever knowing we're missing it. Today I'm walking through 5 specific things that research has actually shown stresses dogs out. Not guesses, not old wives' tales, real studies, real numbers. And I'm telling you right now, number 3 is going to make some of you pause this video and look down at your own hands, because there's a solid chance you're doing it this exact second. Let's get into it. 1. Hugging your dog tightly. The way you'd hug a person. I know. This is the one everybody argues with me about in the comments every single time, so let's just rip the band-aid off early. Back in 2016, a psychologist named Stanley Coren, he's out of the University of British Columbia, spent decades studying dog behavior, decided to actually test this instead of just assuming. He pulled 250 random photos off Google and Flickr of people hugging their dogs. Just normal, everyday, "Aw, my dog loves me" type photos. Then he and his team scored every single one for visible stress signals. Head turned away, ears pinned back, that half-moon white showing around the eyes. The result? 81.6% of those dogs showed at least one sign of stress. Not a lot of dogs, not some dogs, over 8 out of every 10. Now, I know what some of you are already typing in the comments. That's just old photos. That's not real science. That's a blog post. Fair. So here's the part most people don't know. A few years later, a proper peer-reviewed study, led by researcher Elizabeth Ann Walsh, took it further. Instead of still photos, they analyzed video, the 80 most popular dog-getting-hugged videos on social media. Video lets you catch things a photo can't. Lip-licking, blinking rate, actual attempts to nip, and the numbers were honestly worse than the photo study. 68% of the dogs turned their head away or avoided eye contact. 60% showed that flattened, squinted eye look that signals discomfort. 81% were blinking excessively. And here's the one that gets people. In 68% of those videos, the dog actually nipped or tried to bite at some point during the hug. Think about that. 2/3 of dogs being lovingly hugged on camera tried to bite the person hugging them. Why? It's actually pretty simple once you know it. Dogs are built to run. That's their whole survival strategy. See a threat, create distance. A hug takes that option completely off the table. You're pinning their front legs, you're blocking their exit route, and their brain doesn't know this is affection. It just knows, I cannot leave right now. That's the stress response you're seeing on camera. Now look, I'm not telling you to never touch your dog again. I'm telling you the full body arms wrapped around the neck hug is doing something very different in their head than it's doing in yours. So here's my question for you, and I actually want you to answer it in the comments, not just scroll past. Does your dog go stiff or turn their head away when you hug them? Be honest. Type it below. I read every single one of these. 2. Training your dog with corrections instead of rewards. This one's a little heavier, so bear with me, because the research here is genuinely eye-opening. There's a large study led by a researcher named Ana Catarina Vieira de Castro, published in the journal PLOS One. This wasn't some small backyard experiment. They looked at 92 companion dogs across 7 real dog training schools, actual working schools using the methods trainers use in real life, some purely reward-based, some purely aversive, meaning leash corrections, that kind of thing, and some a mix of both. They filmed the training sessions. And this is the smart part, they didn't just watch behavior, they tested saliva for cortisol. That's your stress hormone. You can't fake a cortisol spike. The dogs trained with aversive methods had significantly higher cortisol spikes after training. They showed more crouching, more yelping. They spent more time in what researchers call a tense, low body state, basically braced and shut down. And it didn't stop when the leash came off either. Weeks later, those same dogs were tested using something called a cognitive bias task. It's a way of measuring whether an animal expects good things or bad things from an unclear situation. and the dogs trained with corrections scored measurably more pessimistic. Their whole outlook shifted. There's another study, this one led by researcher Megan Herron, that found something honestly kind of alarming when owners used confrontational training techniques. Things like leash jerks, hitting, physically forcing a dog into a submissive position. 25% or more of dogs responded with aggression, 1 in 4. So here's what I want you to sit with. A correction doesn't just stop the behavior in that moment. According to this research, it can actually reshape how your dog expects to be treated by you going forward in situations that have nothing to do with the original mistake. Now, I'm not judging anyone who's used a leash correction before. Most of us grew up being told that's just how you train a dog. That's exactly why I'm making this video. Nobody told us otherwise. Comment section. I want to know, were you trained on old school correction methods growing up? Did anyone ever actually explain to you why reward-based training tends to work better? Tell me below. I genuinely want to know how many of us learned this the hard way. 3. Reaching over their head, the one I promised would hit different. Reaching over your dog's head to pet them. If you're watching this on your phone right now with your dog curled up next to you, I want you to actually look at your hand, because there's a real chance it's already doing this. Here's the thing about this gesture. It is, by far, the single most common way humans initiate petting a dog. You reach down over the top of their skull and pat them right on the head. It's basically automatic. Nobody taught us to do it, we just do it. There's a researcher named Kirsten Mintz out of the University of Lincoln who has spent years, studying how dogs communicate stress and, more specifically, how badly humans misread those signals, adults and kids both. Her work, along with a framework in veterinary behavior called the Ladder of Aggression, first published by a vet behaviorist named Kendall Shepard back in 2002, documents this exact pattern. A hand coming down from above toward the face isn't read by a lot of dogs as affection incoming. It's read as a looming approach, something coming at their head from a blind angle. And this isn't a small academic detail either. Maine's research became the actual foundation for something called the Blue Dog Program, which is used specifically to teach kids how to avoid dog bites, because this exact gesture, the overhead reach, shows up again and again in bite statistics involving children. Now think about how often this happens in a single day. Every time a stranger meets your dog, every time a kid at the park says, "Can I pet him?" and you say, "Sure," and they immediately reach over the top of the head. Every single good boy pet you give without thinking. It adds up to hundreds, maybe thousands of these moments over your dog's life. The fix, by the way, costs you literally nothing. Offer your hand low, palm down, let your dog come to you instead of you going to them. And when you do pet them, go for the chest or the side of the neck instead of straight down over the skull. That's it. That's the whole fix. All right, comment time, and I actually mean it this time. Go type it right now before you keep watching. Did you catch yourself doing this while I was talking? Just say yes or no in the comments. I want to see how many of us just got caught red-handed, literally. 4. Not letting them finish the conversation. This one connects directly to number 3, petting non-stop instead of checking in. Most of us treat petting like a light switch. We start, and then we just keep going until we personally feel like stopping. We don't check whether the dog is still into it, but dogs have an escalating language for discomfort, and it's not a mystery. It's actually well documented in behavior science. The same ladder of aggression concept I just mentioned. It starts small. A lip lick, a look away, maybe a yawn at a weirdly timed moment. These are quiet, polite signals. A trainer and author named Turid Rugas, whose work on what she calls calming signals is cited constantly in dog behavior circles, has spent decades cataloging these exact small movements, the ones that happen before a dog ever needs to growl or snap. Here's the part that should sting a little. Those early signals only escalate into something more obvious, like a growl or a snap, when the quiet version gets ignored over and over. Your dog isn't skipping straight to aggression. In almost every case, they tried the polite version first, multiple times. And it didn't work because we kept petting right through it. So next time you're petting your dog and they lick their lips, or turn their head slightly away, or go a little stiff, that's not nothing. That's a sentence. Pause. Let your hand come off for a second. See what they do next. If they lean back in, great, keep going. If they don't, that's your answer. And hey, if this is hitting home for you, do me a favor and hit subscribe, because we're literally 1 point away from the last one, and it might be the most important thing on this whole list. 5. Being unpredictable with your rules, your routine, your mood. This is the quiet one. Nobody thinks of this as a thing you're doing to your dog because it doesn't look like a single action. It looks like just being a person with a busy, messy human life. There's a review published in the journal Animals from 2024 that pulled together a huge amount of existing research on cortisol in dogs. And one pattern showed up again and again across that body of work. Dogs on consistent routines, same feeding times, same walk times, same rest periods, had more stable, lower baseline cortisol than dogs whose schedule shifted around unpredictably. Other researchers, including a team led by Rosado, have linked elevated cortisol specifically to dogs living in inconsistent, unpredictable home environments. Here's what that actually looks like in real life, not in a lab. It's the owner who's playful and affectionate on Saturday, and then completely checked out and distracted all week. It's letting the dog on the couch when you're in a good mood and yelling at them for the exact same thing on a bad day. It's a no that means no on Tuesday and somehow means well, okay, fine on Thursday. None of that is cruelty. I want to be really clear about that. Most people doing this love their dog completely, but to a dog's nervous system, it doesn't read as my owner has moods. It reads as I cannot predict this person, and that uncertainty is exhausting to live inside of every single day for years. Your dog doesn't need you to be perfect. They don't need you to be endlessly patient or available every second. What the research keeps pointing to is something much simpler. They need you to be predictable. Same rules mostly, regardless of your mood. That's the ask. Comment section, last one, and I really want an honest answer here. Do your household's rules for your dog actually stay the same day to day? Or if you're being real with yourself, does it kind of depend on your mood? No judgment, I'm asking, because I think most of us will say the second one. So that's the list. 5 things, all backed by actual published research, that your dog is very likely experiencing completely differently than you intended. If you caught yourself on number 3, you're not a bad owner. You're a normal one. Literally, nobody sits new dog owners down and teaches them this stuff. That's the whole reason this channel exists. Before you go, I want you to do 3 things. Drop a comment telling me which one of these 5 surprised you the most. Hit like if this changed how you're going to greet or pet a dog today. And subscribe, because next time we're getting into what your dog's tail direction actually means. And trust me, it's not what you think either. I'll see you in the next one.